Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
Welcome back to Fine Tuning with Drew Taylor, your one-stop shop when it comes to animation news and commentary. I'm entertainment writer Jim Hill, and Mr. Taylor, whose writings in the industry you can regularly read over on The Wrap, and whose musings on the Mission Impossible movies you can still listen to on Light the Fuse, the official Mission Impossible podcast. Drew and I are recording this week's show on the morning of Monday, October 13th, formerly Indigenous Peoples Day. Now, I guess, according to an executive order that President Trump has signed, it's gone back to being Columbus Day. Any plans, Drew?
I'm working. That's what I'm doing.
Yes, that's I. That's
We're
why
here.
the two of us are at this ungodly hour doing this show. By the way, folks, speaking of this week's show, we have a special guest, and that's Matt Kaszanek, who's the program director for Animation is Film, which is that film festival which gets underway this coming Friday, October 17th, and then runs through Sunday, October 19th at the TCL Chinese Theatre in Hollywood. And Matt, Drew, and I are going to pop the hood on the programming at this year's event, how it came together, which films Matt is most excited about to be showcasing at this event. Likewise, what it's like to host an event at one of Hollywood's most historic theaters, which again, back in the day, was Grauman's Chinese. There's also a lot of animation news that happened this past week, which we'll get to in a moment. But first, Mr. Taylor and I need to acknowledge our sponsor, which is unlockmagic.com, where you get real discounts on Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando tickets, sometimes upwards of 12% off. And just so you know, Unlock Magic is run by the exact same folks behind the DVC rental store and the DVC resale market. So just pick your dates and grab tickets for things like after-hours events like Mickey's Very Merry, which gets underway next month on November 7th and then is presented on select nights at the Magic Kingdom. Likewise, Jollywood Nights. That gets started on November 8th and also presented on select nights only at Hollywood Studios. Anyway, unlockmagic.com. Get your theme park tickets there and tell them that it was Drew and Jim that sent you. Okay, so we now start off by talking about this past weekend's box office. And look, Tron Ares did not do the business that I think Disney was hoping it was going to do.
Yeah. I don't know. What is the definition of insanity, Jim? Doing the same thing and thinking there will be a different outcome, right?
Well, but now what's interesting about this is, reached out some friends at Disney. And yes, the original box office projections for Tron Ares were 40 to 45 million in North America. And as of right now, this Joaquin Ronin film has... what is it? The early estimates are 33.5 in North America. But at the same time, the folks at Disney are like, wait a minute. We had a nor'easter coming up the eastern seaboard, which effectively put the lights out in much of the tri-state area. And, in order for a movie to be shown, you have to have electricity. You have to be able to sell tickets. So that dinged the box office. Also, when you look at the fact that, this past weekend we had a Major League Baseball playoff game between the Blue Jays and the Mariners, and then 12 different NFL games happening around the nation. And it was like, so the crucial 25-year-old male or 25 or under male didn't necessarily show in the same numbers that Disney had been hoping, but What's fascinating to me, Drew, is talking with these folks. They brought up Elemental. Everybody I talk with, it's like, no, wait a minute. I think we got an Elemental going here. That, and don't make the mistake of, saying Tron Ares underperformed over its opening weekend and what that means to this movie. Let's give this one some time and circle back on it, because you don't want to have to walk back that, Tron Ares eventually did, solid numbers. Are you hearing anything to that effect? Or?
Well, I'm also hearing that the budget was underreported. I saw somebody report that it was actually over $200 million. So I think that is going to be kind of tough to overcome. As you and I have heard, the only way to make a profit is making 3 times your budget, and I don't see this netting out past $900 million. So it's gonna be a hard uphill battle, but you're right. October is a really hard month. There's also every Halloween thing that's going on, and haunted houses everywhere, and there's a lot of division of attention. And I got to go to the premiere on Monday, which was so much fun. There was an actual Nine Inch Nails concert after the movie on Sunset Boulevard, Jim, or Hollywood Boulevard, which was so fun. It was a great time. So there's nothing like watching Jerry Bruckheimer rock out to a Nine Inch Nails concert. But that's exactly what happened.
Now, speaking of which, you actually got to moderate a panel, an event with Mr. Bruckheimer. Can we talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
I did. I was with the whole crew. I was with Jerry on Tuesday in Calabasas in this amazing theater that's about to be torn down. So I'm really glad I went because it's being torn down in December. And then I was with Joseph Kosinski, who obviously directed Tron Legacy a few days later in Ojai for a screening. And it was a lot of fun, Jim. I'm very tired, and here I am at 7:00 with you.
There we go. All right, so that's Mr. Taylor's polite way of saying, keep moving, fat man, keep moving. So toward that end, on the animation side of the domestic box office, Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, again, number 4 at the domestic box office, took in $3.35 million in North America. This is 3 weeks into its run. $26.4 million total for this territory. On the other hand, Demon Slayer's Infinity Castle, now 5 weeks into its North America run. $2.25 million in tickets sold. Currently stands at $128.6 million in that territory. Which, given how well Demon Slayer's Infinity Castle has done domestically, I'm told that the folks at Crunchyroll, who are sending Chainsaw Man, the movie ResArk, into North American theaters next week. Just to be clear here, folks, opens domestically on October 24th. They have now very, very high hopes about how this dark fantasy anime action film will do. Did you see? I want to say, did they put it? Was it the film opening they put out there last week, or there was a scene they made available?
Oh, I didn't see that. Was it cool? I mean, the animation on Chainsaw Man is so cool. I imagine it was cool too. I mean, that's going to make so much money.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. From your lips to the Crunchyroll, corporate bank account. Now, by the way, the folks at Crunchyroll reportedly very, very excited to see how many people tried to get into the Chainsaw Man, the movie ResArk panel at this year's New York Comic Con, which just wrapped its 3-day run at the Jacobs Avett Center this past Sunday. And, it just so many people turned out that the staffers at New York Comic Con had to turn hundreds of folks away, which, again, very good sign for the opening weekend of ResArk. And speaking, you were just talking a bit about, your chat with Kaczynski, your chat with Bruckheimer. We need to actually let people know where you did this. So you were at the Infinity Festival in Hollywood, right?
I did Infinity. That's where I did a K-pop Demon Hunters panel with with Michelle, who is the producer of K-pop, who you'll hear about a little bit later in the show in our second half. And also Josh, who is also going to be at the Animationist Film Festival, as well as one of the co-producers. And so, yeah, we just chopped it up about K-pop, and I got to see the new campus, Jim, the new Sony Animation campus, which is more kind of mid-city.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, this is the thing. The interesting thing about the Infinity Festival, it's actually described as an annual event that bridges Tinseltown and Silicon Valley, that brings storytellers and technologists together. But what I found about fascinating about the Infinity Fest, Drew, was that partially staged at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, which I really, really, really need to get to the next time I'm in LA. But yes, also on Sony Pictures Imageworks' new Miracle Mile campus. And when did that open?
It must have opened, I think it opened in the past year. Because the last time I was at Sony Pictures Animation was when I was locked in a broom closet and shown fixed like many months before it came out. So, you know, I won't say that I got lost from the bathroom, Jim, but there was nobody there on a Friday, so I might have been creeping around some production pods and you know seeing things that I can't talk about.
Having a poor sense of direction, particularly when you're visiting an animation studio, you do come away with some stories. Stuff sometimes you can't
pays off.
share
it pays off
for years.
Yes,
but stuff. But
yes.
But anyway, so we enjoyed our time at the Infinity Festival, or
it was wonderful, and I got to meet so many people. There was a gentleman from Dolby, Jim, who knows you from back in the day. Tom, yes, absolutely, yeah. And so he introduced himself and said, "Come by," and I said, "Perfect. It's down the street from my apartment." So you know that's always a plus. And it was a really fun event, and people seemed to enjoy themselves. And I would do anything for K-pop Demon Hunters, Jim. So going to Mid City on a Friday morning.
Wow,
easy,
all right.
easy. Yeah.
Anybody who's actually been out in LA in morning traffic knows. Oh wow, that is a sacrifice.
Yes,
okay,
commitment.
So,
yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, we have even more animation news to follow in a moment. But first, this.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
No one should have to choose between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Purina is helping to create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters through the Purple Leash Project, so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
And we're back. Okay, Drew, we were just talking about New York Comic Con, and among the things that got screened was the trailer for Bat Fam, which officially drops November 10th on Prime Video and Amazon Kids. Though, while we're talking about stuff on Prime Video, do want to make folks aware that John Candy, I Like Me, the new documentary from Colin Hanks and Ryan Reynolds, just debuted over there on Prime Video. You've seen this, right?
I haven't seen it. I'm so excited to see it. Jim, you have no idea how kind of programmatic I have to be when in my spare time. It's like I've got an interview with Vince Gilligan this week, so I've got to watch all of his new show. No. I've got, it's like I have to my free time is just so mannered. But I'm so excited to see this. Did they interview you, Jim? That's really my question. Because you and John were buddies. Okay.
They did not. Though, what is it? Paul Myers has also written a John Candy book, and I was originally supposed to talk with Paul about back in the day working on Roadshow, but that fell by the wayside, again, largely because of the schedule that Drew just described. I mean, in order to be conversational with folks you're interviewing, you have to actually watch what they do. But anyway, speaking of John Candy and animation, I've heard a lovely story recently about Red Feather, the turkey character that John Candy was originally supposed to voice for Disney's Pocahontas. But as Drew will tell you, that character eventually got cut from that Eric Goldberg, Mike Gabriel movie because as it moved through development, it got more and more serious. And but Drew, I was flat out told that Red Feather was initially in the movie because Mike Gabriel, who had also co-directed The Rescuers Down Under, had so enjoyed working with Candy on that Rescuer sequel that he basically told the Pocahontas story team, it's like, we have to find a character for John to voice on this movie. You know, having him on hand will add so much to this movie. Now, that said, there are those that will tell you that Rescuers Down Under, that the story team may have relied a little too much on Wilbur, the character that John Candy voiced for that Rescuers sequel. I mean, if you watch the original Rescuers from 1977, Wilbur's brother Orville, who was voiced by Fibber McGee and Molly star Jim Jordan, Drew, he's in that movie for what, 5 minutes tops? And again, it's a 77-minute long movie, and Orville's basically there to get Bernard and Bianca down from New York City to Devil's Bayou. Whereas Wilbur in the sequel, Drew, he's what, easily got, you know, he's a third of the movie he's in, maybe close to half. And the story that was told to me is that whenever the A story on this Rescuer sequel would bog down, the story team would then go, well, I wonder what Wilbur's up to at this point. And then they'd write something for Candy to perform. And
yeah, because isn't he like, he's like captured by George C. Scott's character or something?
I mean, it's such a B story. He develops a back problem, and then he's captured by these little mice that are nurses who are looking to do back surgery on him. And it's one of these things. So they'd write this little scene, and they'd put John in the booth. And again, this is a guy who cut his teeth at Second City, so he's a king of improv. And he'd then, in addition to what they wrote, give them a lot more really funny material, a lot of options. And suddenly this teeny tiny scene in the movie is now this whole brand new sequence. And Candy effectively became the film's go-to guy. You know, and in fact, they actually, well, you'll love this, Drew. The ending of the movie, Rescuers Down Under, was testing poorly. And what they literally did, you know, it's like, I guess it's a week to 10 days before the movie actually goes out. And if you watch the shot today and understand this, they had no time, they had no money to animate. So it's like this background plate of, you know, where the Marahuti's nest was. And if you remember in the movie, Bernard leaves Wilbur on the nest, you know, heating the egg. So it's a shot of the background plate. You hear John Candy sitting on the nest, calling for Bernard, and then the eggs hatch. And it's like, so John literally gets the last word in the movie, the last laugh, because they're like, oh God, we got to fix the end. And it's like, get Candy back in here.
Do you see why this movie was the funniest movie I'd ever seen when I was 8 years old when this thing came out? I mean, this is why.
And don't get me wrong, there's some good stuff in it. I love the scene where the message comes from the Australian outback to New York. That is just, in fact, that's supposedly all Chris Sanders.
It is. I can confirm that. I just talked to him about it a few months ago about how he came up with that. And also, he came up with the cave painting sequence that was deleted that was then miraculously reused, Jim, in Prince of Egypt. That whole kind of sequence was originally intended for Rescuers Down Under. So a lot of good people on that
absolutely.
movie.
And again, that message scene is some just muscular filmmaking. That's worth the price of admission right there. Anyway, back to Bat Fam now. The trailer out there, Drew pointed me to, has the same design aesthetic and really funny writing style as Merry Little Batman, the holiday special from 2023. But also, speaking of things that are returning, Primal Season 3 showing up on Adult Swim in January 2026. And Drew, you got to sit down with Gennady and talk about this show. Wearing your rap hat. And this was a great interview, but also kind of interesting the way they went with season 3 of Primal. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, because, I had talked to him over the past, year or so about what Primal season 3 is going to be. And maybe I was thinking too much about it, Jim, but I thought, this is going to be World War II. It's going to be Vikings. It's going to be something else just under the Primal banner. So when they sent me the clip and it was Zombie Spear, we have to tell people what 3 is about. Zombie Spear kind of traversing a phantasmagoric wasteland. I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, you're just continuing on. And what he said was that he tried to do something different. It was going to be sort of gods in a outer space landscape kind of creating life. He said if Primal's first 2 seasons were about death, season 3 would be about life. And he said it just wasn't working. So he went back to the Primal well and he thought, there's a precedent for zombies in the Primal universe. Why don't we bring him back? And then, it's like, and then there's a clear emotional kind of trajectory because he is going to, at some point, meet up with Fang, his dinosaur companion from the first 2 seasons. And what does that look like? And I thought, that's some good stuff, Jim.
Speaking of which, is it season 2 where they do the zombified ultrasaur thing where it's...
That's one. That's I forget what the episode is called.
That is sheer nightmare
amazing.
fuel. I mean, that is, I want to say 22, 25 minutes. It took me hours afterwards to unclench. That great storytelling, amazing animation, scary as hell. So
so imagine that for a whole 6 episodes or 8 episodes or whatever.
Okay, now speaking of brutal animation, violent animation, and now to duck back to Batman for a sec. Again, news coming out of New York Comic-Con. Warner Brothers Animation, DC, and Warner Brothers Home Entertainment have officially announced Batman Nightfall, which this is kind of intriguing, Drew. This is going to be a multi-part animated event. We're getting our first film, Nightfall Part 1, directed by Jeff Wamester, but this is based on the comic that everybody remembers because of the cover of Bane basically breaking Batman's back.
Yes, this was in the heyday of kind of the speculative comic book market too, where people were buying 10 copies of everything. And you remember it, and as a kid, this was like the biggest deal because Batman's back was broken, and then this other guy kind of took over, and he had a very cool suit. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it. I mean, I think the Warner Brothers home entertainment releases are really solid in terms of animation and story, and it's going to be good.
Absolutely killer. The ridiculously strong run of films. And by the way, part one starts off with Bane letting the Rogues Gallery out of Arkham, so that's going to be killer. But speaking, however, of bad guys, the prequel series to Bad Guys film franchise, this is called Bad Guys Breaking In, is going to debut on Netflix on November 6th. And this comes from DreamWorks Television Animation. Again, another trailer that Drew shared with me. And this, I guess, gets underway on November 6th. But the gimmick is we get to see the bad guys go from being, just average criminals to world-class criminals. And funny idea.
It looks cute. Yeah, I mean, the animation looks a little stiff, but, such is TV animation, I guess, sometimes.
It is. Okay, now, getting back now to stuff that was coming out of New York this past weekend. Saturday, Neil O'Brien, the author of After Disney, Toil, Trouble, and Transformation at America's favorite media company. Drew, he hosted a 40th anniversary screening of The Black Cauldron at the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens. And so they showed a 35 millimeter print of this 1985 film produced by Walt Disney Animation. But as soon as Neil sent me a note, right after the panel, and I thought immediately, Drew would have killed himself to be here for this, because they fire up the projector, and the title card comes up, Drew, but it's not The Black Cauldron. It's Tron and the Magic Cauldron.
Whoa!
Yeah, that from when Disney tried to rebrand the movie in 1990s. They actually sent the Black Cauldron out into select markets to see if, with a different title, would people come out for this movie. And somehow that's the print that got sent to the screening, which, kind of killing myself. I actually bought tickets. I was supposed to be down there. Unfortunately, we had a death in the family. My daughter Alice's aunt, and so I had to stick close to home. But I'm pleased to report that the talk that Neil gave afterwards at the Museum of the Moving Image was very well attended. His book signing that followed, in fact, went so well the gift shop ran out of books. So. Again, happy to hear that for him, and just bummed that I didn't get to see, that title card, Taran and
that is really cool.
That is really cool.
That is really cool. So, I also want to make sure that my powers of deduction that you weren't going to go is not some kind of, being used for evil if there was a death in the family. That's not, I thought Jim was just going to be lazy, but, he actually had a reason to stay home.
I'm lazy, but we still did have a death in the family. But anyway, now, speaking of, again, Neil O'Brien, we have our favorites here at Fine Tuning, and among them is Guillermo del Toro. And Drew, you have some news about what Guillermo and Netflix are a team up they've got in the works, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting. They have teamed up to do a stop motion animation school in Paris, and including paying for some scholarships for students to go through this. And it's just it's just amazing that he is so committed to animation and so committed to stop motion animation, and that he got Netflix on board, because it's just very, very exciting. And obviously having some good Guillermo del Toro news in the lead up to Frankenstein's release, which comes out in select theaters this week, Jim, before coming on Netflix in November, always, is great. So yeah, just really impressed. He did something similar for Pinocchio, where he was kind of bankrolling schools in Mexico that helped with the animation. And so, not only does this mean that there's going to be a brand new generation of stop motion animators, but hopefully that there will be several more Guillermo del Toro stop motion animated films. So all very exciting news indeed.
This is true. And speaking of things that are exciting, this coming weekend in Los Angeles, we have the Animation is Film Festival. And when Drew and I get back from this break, we will be talking with Matt Kaszanek, who is the programming director for this event, which will be held Friday, October 17th through Sunday, October 19th at the TCL Chinese Theatre 6. But before we get to that, there's this.
Big news. Sephora is now on Uber Eats. So if you find yourself facing a beauty emergency, like needing a last-minute gift, or you're just out of your favorite mascara, again, don't panic. We got you. Order now and get $10 off on Sephora orders of $50 or more on the Uber Eats app. Order now. Offer ends October 30th. One order per customer. Additional terms apply. See app for availability. Delivery fees may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
Okay, so Matt, do you want to tell us sort of what Animation is Film, how long it's been going on, what's exciting about this year's festivities?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to talk about it.
Of course.
The Animation is Film Festival is this weekend, October 17th to the 19th at the TCL Chinese Theaters in Hollywood at Hollywood Ovation, formerly known as Hollywood and Highland. It has been around. The festival started in 2017, so this is our 8th edition. If the map doesn't quite work out, it's because we did not have a festival in 2020 for COVID. But this is the 8th edition of the festival. It was started in 2017 as a collaboration between the distributor G-Kids, Variety, and the Annecy International Animation Film Festival. That they collectively came to the conclusion that there was a need for something like this in Los Angeles that celebrates animation in the capital of filmmaking. And so here we are, and we're really, really excited to be back.
And what are sort of the marquee things this year?
So for this year, it has a similar skeleton to previous editions, but really what we're trying to do is just show a large diversity of the type of animation that's out there this year. So there's a competition section that consists of, this year it's going to be 10 films from all around the world. There is several special events and studio events. There are 4 shorts programs. There is a shorts program that is the Best of Annecy in partnership with WIA. There are 2 independent shorts presentations as well. And then there is a student showcase, which we've been doing for the last few years, featuring animated films from students from primarily Southern California, Cal Arts, USC, Cal State's Long Beach and Fullerton, and Art Center College of Design. And then also some European schools, ESMA and Goblins, are going to be at the festival this year. And yeah, I mean, I don't even really know where to begin because there's so many highlights this year that we're really, really excited about. We are opening the festival on Friday with the West Coast premiere of Mamoru Hosoda's Scarlet, which we're very, very excited about. And then the centerpiece film is Arco, which had won the Crystal Award at Annecy. And then we are closing the festival on Sunday with Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, which won, I believe, you might have to fact check me on this, the audience prize at Annecy this year as well. So we're very excited.
I love that movie. I'm so excited that more people are going to see it. It's so wonderful. I mean, I'm excited to see everything that I can at Animation is Film, but there's also an anniversary screening of Paranorman with the new short attached, right?
It is the world premiere of the short. Yeah, it is the 20th anniversary of Laika. It is the 13th anniversary of Paranorman, which felt appropriate given its subject matter and its Halloween-y themes. But yes, it is the world premiere of the newly remastered 3D. So this has never ever been seen before. And then in addition to that, there is the world premiere of Paranorman: The Thrifting, which is a new short film that is set in the Paranorman universe, starring Anna Kendrick, reprising her role from the original Paranorman, and she's actually going to be at the festival to introduce the short and the screening. So we're super excited about that.
Amazing. Yeah, it's what I love about it is that it does take place in one theater, so you can just kind of camp out and see all this amazing stuff and not have to leave. And now there are better food options at Ovation too. I want to give a big shout out to The Window, which is my new favorite burger place that is downstairs. So, I just want to make sure that. Have you been?
I haven't been there. I haven't been to The Window.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. And yeah, I mean, they're trying to class up Hollywood and Highland. So I think you're part of that, Matt. You're part of the classing up of Hollywood and Highland. So
happy to be of service, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Happy to do our part.
Yeah. It's a shame that Jim Hill is not going to be there, but
Well, no, especially, I mean, again, to hold it at the TCL Chinese Theater 6. I mean, what is it like to, again, this is a celebration of animation in the town that, effectively created feature animation or theatrical feature animation. What is it like to be holding this event at, what used to be one of the great movie palaces, the Grauman's Chinese?
It's very, very exciting. You can't help not be overcome by, the significance of the location and, the central essential role that Hollywood and Los Angeles has played in the history of animation. So it is really very, very exciting. And, and we've done screenings in the big Chinese theater. The Boy and the Heron premiere, which was 2 years ago, all time is a blur, had played in that house. And yeah, I think that there's something about that intersection and that theater, and it's very exciting, and you really can't. You can't help but feel, a real sense of history and continuity, and it's the perfect location for the festival. We're really happy to be there.
Cool. Matt, do you want to talk about some of the panels too that are happening? Because it's also a great place to get a preview of what's to come from some studios. So you want to talk about those?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're doing, we have a couple of studio panels, which we tend to do every year. And in this case, we've got something that people have seen, and then there's something that's upcoming. So we are doing a panel devoted to K-pop Demon Hunters in partnership with Netflix and Sony Pictures Animation. Yes, but we're going to have, so we're doing a filmmaker panel. So we're not going to show the film because, of course, everybody in the universe has already seen it multiple times. But there's going to be a panel with Maggie Kang and Chris Applehans and Michelle Wong, who's the producer, and Helen Chen and Josh Beveridge. They're all going to be on stage, talking about sort of the journey from, the idea of that film to, what it's like to give birth to a cultural phenomenon. So that's going to be a really, really fun conversation. And then on Saturday at noon, we are doing a presentation on Zootopia 2, where we're going to be able to see footage from the film, which does not come out until November, so it's not going to be the entire film. But Carrie Lowe, who is the head of story for Zootopia 2, and Yvette Marino, who is the producer of the film, are going to just do a presentation, show some art, show some footage. And yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun as well.
Love it.
I have to admit, I look at your partners on this. I mean, you got G-Kids, you got Annecy, you got Variety. And what sort of input did you get from those folks in regard to, how the programming was put together for this year's event?
Well, I think that, and if you look a little bit deeper there, because those are the three founding partners, but, the festival is very, very lucky to enjoy the support of the entire animation industry. Like, if you look at our industry partners, it's Disney, and it's Sony, and it's Warner Brothers, and it's DreamWorks, and it's Pixar, and it's Paramount, and it's Nickelodeon and Laika and Crunchyroll. I know I'm leaving somebody off, but it's, across the entire animation industry, everybody's working together to put on this event. And so, because animation as film is unique from other festivals in the way that, in addition to its most basic goal, which is to just be a showcase for some really, really terrific films that you should come and see, it has a very, very specific mission, which is that, animation it's a cinematic art form. It's not some lesser form of filmmaking, which I think it sometimes gets relegated to this box. And so it's what's really unique about it is that you have all of these partners, these different studios that, I guess are competitors in different contexts, but everybody is coming together to celebrate this idea that we all agree on, which is that, these are films that need to be taken seriously. They are among the best films of the year, not just the best animated films of the year. And I think that's something that's really, really special about it. In terms of, the role that we have, I mean, I think on some of the studio presentations, we're getting those from those partners. If you look at the competition section, a lot of those films, had played at other festivals. They had played at the Berlinale and they had played at Cannes, but a lot of them are also premiering at Annecy as well. So we're seeing a lot of the films for the first time there, just given sort of the nature of the role that they play in the landscape. I think there's 2 or 3 G-Kids titles that are part of the competition this year, but it's an independent thing. But everybody is kind of working together to support this idea.
Well, speaking of which, though, I mean, just looking at, for example, some of the jurors you've got lined up for both your features and your shorts competitions between Jermaine Clement, Toral Cove, and Drew, your buddy Matt Braley, the guy you worked on the art of and making of in the art of Amphibia book. So, wow, I got some high rollers, involved in this.
Yeah, it's exciting because every year it's like you just kind of meet more and more people. Toral had a film in the festival, I think it was last year, with Maybe Elephants, and so that's where I had met her. And Matt and Drew knows this. Is that I met Matt last year because my son, who is 7, but we were watching Amphibia together, and it was the first. It was the first series that we were watching together as as he's becoming kind of more of a discerning viewer. And I was such a fan of that show. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would just want to meet him. And then I asked him to be on the jury and he said yes. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, Matt is one of these creatives that is just, and I hesitate to use the word a monster. But, that's who you can really, when you picture Matt, that's who no, I'm kidding. He's the sweetest man, and he's going to be a wonderful juror. He's going to vote thoughtfully and earnestly, and you're going to want to have him on every year, probably, because he's that good. So,
well, he has big shoes to fill because we've had many illustrious jurors, including Drew Taylor last year. So it's a tough act to follow.
I know. I went to the mat for Ghost Cat Anzu and was bruised coming away, but that's okay. I gotta speak my truth. So that's
a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Speaking of which, Drew, are we paneling or hosting at this year's event?
I'm waiting to hear. This is Matt. Matt calls me up and says, "I need you." Actually, Matt witnessed the first time I met Matt. I did a panel for Disney. I came out into the lobby and I was seized by someone from DreamWorks and said, "Oh, you're going on in 5 minutes." And I said, "What?" And they said, "Oh yeah, you didn't get the email." And I had not gotten the email, but I did an impromptu panel right after. I went from Disney to DreamWorks. That was very funny. So
that actually was really quite impressive. Yeah, I think as I remember it, I think that it was that DreamWorks thought that I had emailed you, and I thought that DreamWorks had emailed you. So we were getting ready for the screening to start, and we were both saying, "Hey, where's Drew?" And then just by sheer dumb luck. You emerged from whatever Disney presentation was right before, and we were like, "Hey, you don't have any plans after this, do you?" And so it worked out. You were quite
it was a hard pivot, and we made it happen. And that's the magic of the Animation is Film Festival, Jim. You know what I mean?
There we go.
Yeah, the festival gods were smiling on us that day for sure.
Yes. That they were. But again, given the way animation works, and face it, I mean, you are in T-minus country for this year's, animation is film. But, you've got to, just the way things work in this industry, already be sort of looking over the horizon at 2026. Are there any films out there that you're excited about, that you're hoping maybe this time next year you'll be getting ready to show at the TCL Chinese Theatre 6?
I do. I don't want to say them in case because I don't want to tempt fate. But but I mean that's kind of always a funny thing about animation is because it takes so long. So you're tracking films for years. And it's kind of funny because, so I've been doing this since 2018. So I'm maybe about a year or two ago, I started to experience the sort of very exciting thing of films that I remember being announced were done. And that was really the first time that I ever experienced. Like, I remember in 2017, they would be saying, like, so-and-so has a new film that's been greenlit. And then a couple of years go by, and then it's like, oh yeah, I remember when this was a thing that was announced in the trades. So so everything that that is in the festival this year is stuff that we've been looking at, or it's been on our radar for a couple of years, and that'll be the case next year as well. So yeah, it's exciting.
Cool.
2026 is going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be great. So much animation, coming out. I'm ready for it.
It's going to be great. And yeah, it's every year is always kind of a new exciting thing. And I'm super excited about the lineup this year. I'm excited about what people are going to see and they're going to react to. And I mean, I always feel bad because I think I called out a couple of films specifically in your earlier question, but anybody who's listening, just go to the website, animationisfilm.com. Just check out the lineup. It's very, very strong, and we're really, really proud of this year's event.
It really is a nice, like, kind of stopgap for Annecy, or if you've never been to Annecy, it kind of has that same energy of just being inundated with panels and screenings and animation professionals. If you're a young person who's looking to get into the industry or wants to know more about it, I think it's a really invaluable tool. And the weather isn't as nice, but you can now get a burger downstairs at Hollywood and Highland that isn't bad. So, that's a plus. Yeah.
And you're Southern California, so the weather's not bad. And even if it is bad, it's all in one location, so you don't even have to deal with the weather.
It's true.
Well, speaking of which, the Animation is Film Festival, again, it's going to be held this coming weekend, starting on Friday, October 17th through Sunday, October 19th at the TCL Chinese Theatre in Hollywood. Matt, thank you so much for getting up so early today to talk with Drew and myself, but very much looking forward to Drew reporting on what's shown and perhaps who's paneling at this year's event.
Who could say? Who could say? Matt, always a pleasure. I'll see you very soon. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed that.
Thanks again to Matt for making the time to talk with us this morning. And again, just a reminder, Animation Film, again, this Friday, October 17th, gets underway at the TCL Chinese 6 theaters in Hollywood, runs through Sunday. And maybe Drew is paneling, maybe he isn't,
It's like terrorism, Jim. If you see something, say something. If you see me, say something.
Okay.
And I would love to say hello. So yes, it's one of my favorite things throughout the year, and I'm just so excited that it's back.
That is so cool.
Yay.
Okay. So, and by the way, if you want to hear even more of Mr. Taylor, there's, of course, Light the Fuse, the official Mission Impossible podcast. There are nearly 300 episodes in that show's archive, where Drew and his equally talented co-host, Charles Hood, they interview all sorts of Hollywood greats, not just about the 8 Mission Impossible movies, but all the other projects they work on. And honestly, folks, every time I listen to this thing, I learn more about one of my favorite films. So please make a point of checking out that podcast. And by the way, maybe the same thing will happen if you listen to some of the podcasts we do here at Jim Hill Media. That includes Disney Dish with Len Testa, the Epic Universal podcast I do with Eric Hersey, who produces a lot of the shows here. Likewise, I Want That Too, the Disney Merch podcast I do with Eric's lovely bride, Lauren. Also, want to remind you folks about Manufacturing the Magic. That's the themed entertainment history podcast we host here. That's produced by Shelley and Noah Valladolid. Just recently posted a new episode about how Disneyland grew during its first 5 years. Also want to direct your attention to Marvelous Disney. the reboot of that series. Dan Grady and I just recorded a new episode of that we'll post tomorrow. And earlier this week, we recorded a brand new episode of Disney Unpacked. That's the video series that Len and I do with veteran Imagineer Jim Schul. And this episode, long in the works, is about corporate lounges at Epcot. Anyway, before Drew and I go, I want to thank Eric Hersey and David Gray for the great job they do editing and producing this podcast. I'll also have a favor to ask. If you could head over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this show as well as Light Diffuse. And I guess we should talk about social media on the way out, just in case you want to update folks on what's going on with animation as film.
Sure. It is Drew Tailored, like a tailored shirt, on Instagram and X mostly. And Jim, where can people find you?
X and Instagram is Jim Hill Media, and then over on Facebook is Jim Hill Media News. And so with that, folks, on behalf of Mr. Taylor, thank you for listening to this week's Fine Tuning, and we will be back soon.